Hello, everyone, and welcome to IWB. This is Immigrant Women of Business, and we're here today with the amazing youth program. I am your host, Zach Liotis. I also host the podcast, Be Bold, Fierce, Unstoppable. You could find that on all podcast platforms. Today, we have incredible youth here that are just going to talk to you about how they came to Canada, what their struggles were, how they found refuge and meeting other people and connecting with mentors, people that they could lean on, and those that give them support and empowerment to get them through the struggles in life and to open up their heart to create the life that they want in this place that we call the beautiful Canada. And we have the event July 15th at 5 o'clock at Toronto City Hall. And I hope that you could all join us. We are about diversity. We're about inclusion. We're about oneness. We're about love. And we're about supporting each and every human being that shows up and being who you are and finding opportunities for each person. We're a country of opportunities, either working with others or creating your own business. So I want to introduce to you the youth that we have in IWB, starting off with Peter Ratnikov. So Peter, welcome.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, darling, welcome. So Peter, you are the founder's son. So you are really the foundation also of Immigrant Women in Business. You've seen it from the seed. You've seen it as it grew, and you are here today. So tell us a little bit about your journey with Immigrant Women in Business.
Yeah, it was I was already going to a lot of networking events, and actually at the time I was DJing at the time as well. So I was part of an organization back then called Toonie Talks, Tuesday Night Talks. So it's kind of like I've seen throughout the city all the different variations of similar events. So and on top of just networking events, there's a lot of conferences I was going to, like real estate, marketing, whatever, cash flow, direct sales, kind of marketing events, all kind of events I was going to. So when it came to Momsie's event, obviously it was like family. So it felt to me originally like it was more kind of like homely kind of vibe. And I thought it was just me, obviously. My mother's hosting it. So I'm like, I'm going to feel like this is more homely than the other events. And even the event I was part of, I thought we did an excellent job when it came to like, it was kind of like a little bit more corporate organized in the sense we had the DJ, the music, we stick to the time slots exactly. So I was kind of like, thought she was kind of doing it too sporadic at moments, right? Because I was so structured and being in the DJ and entertainment background, certain times there's benefits to being so structured. So in the beginning, when she was kind of all over the place, it was kind of like it was like a knife twisting in my gut. I want to tell Momsy to do something, but it's Momsy. Like I ain't gonna do what she's gonna do, right? But then as like seeing it start to progress, let alone where it is today, there was actually a benefit to having that extra kind of like love and tender care to the event, and that spontaneity about like, yeah, the curriculum or the agenda says this, but all of a sudden we could do one section twice as long and skip one if that's more impactful for the people there. And that was something different that I wasn't seeing around the city. Or it was like too dry. A lot of events were too dry, too scheduled. So to have that like love and then like to see it start expanding. So it was like at first it was like 20 people, 50 people would come out, 35 people would come out to the events. All of a sudden the rooms are getting too filled. And then she started having more people at the events than I do. And I'm like, we have alcohol and DJs and are you bringing out more people than us? Like this makes no sense. And our events were free as well, right? It's one thing when it's a paid event. So once it started having more numbers than the events I was doing, I was like, okay, this is maybe something's happening here. And all of a sudden she's in City Hall and opening other chapters down the road. And it was a very blessing for me. I got the public speaking and cryptocurrency like at the end of my DJ career. So I was already doing it part-time. After 1 year in crypto, I was only doing DJ like for certain like clients that I had history with. I wasn't even accepting new clients. So to see it come so far, it gave me so many opportunities too. Like she let me speak on crypto when people weren't didn't even know what the word Bitcoin was back then, right? So it was kind of like, it was more difficult. Now it's like if I want to talk 2 times a week, no problem. And even 3 years ago, but 6 years ago, to book public speaking gigs for Bitcoin and crypto outside of the Bitcoin community was pretty much unheard of. So it
Yeah.
was amazing to have all these doors open and be exposed to all these organizations that someone would attend that was a leader in their tribe, see me speak and then they would invite me to speak at their event. So it opened tons of doors for me personally. And the unique approach of, like, again, putting that love and spontaneity into an event, but still keeping it very professional and make sure everybody gets a lot out of it. I think that's the kind of the journey I experienced with IWB.
Yeah, it is. It's a beautiful, it's such a comforting feeling. It's like a family affair going on, right? Because it's such a diverse crowd. It's like, wow, this is the United Nations all under one roof because of the vision of a woman that actually told her son that you don't need to have a DJ and all this. You just need to have love in the room, right? So what was your story when you first came to Canada with mom?
Well, I was 3 years old, so I was very young. Like, my challenges, I guess, would be they didn't really, well, maybe my mom spoke a little bit. My dad spoke zero English. So, like, I learned English from, like, Ninja Turtles and Inspector Gadget. So I can only imagine how difficult it was for my teachers to have this little Russian boy in the class that looked white, and I was around a bunch of, like, Indian and Black people. We grew up in St. Jamestown, but it was like I didn't speak a lick of English. So they're probably like, oh, finally, is someone English speaking? I'm like, no, I don't speak a lick. So I always struggled with it when it came to, like, English in the sense of my marks afterwards. So it wasn't that I was, like, not good at speaking by the time I was a certain age, but just the grammar and all that. Because even though English is my main language, Russian was the first language I learned to speak. It was the first language I learned to read. It was the first language I learned to write. So it was a challenge for me. But besides that, growing up downtown, I think it was a blessing because I didn't, like, everyone was an immigrant pretty much around me, more or less, right? Or if they were Canadian, their parents were immigrants from somewhere else. So I didn't find, like, a lack of, that's why I really like Toronto. And I'm very blessed that we came here and we stayed downtown. I can imagine if we moved to the Russian area, like Steeles and Bathurst, instead of living downtown, I probably wouldn't have had such a great Canadian experience. I probably definitely wouldn't be public speaking English. Russian would probably still be my first language. So it was awesome to move to a place so diversified in a city that's accepting of all these cultures and nations. So I grew up with, like, a Jamaican friend, a Filipino friend, and a Polish friend, like, before the age of 10, like when I was a child. So I was going to dinners, Asian style dinners, Caribbean style dinners. It was really awesome, right? And it gives you a lot more kind of spice in your life too, as opposed to just being around the same kind of energy all the time.
Absolutely. And that's where we learn the most. We learn from one another, from different cultures, we learn through food too. I love food. Anytime someone says, hey, I'm from this country, I'm like, what do you guys eat over there? Because I love food. So I totally get where you're coming from. So growing up and being not with the community that you came from is so key, because you learn so many different ways. Thank you for that, Peter. That's amazing. I'm going to move on to Mofi. I hope I'm saying your name right, Mofi.
Close enough. So it's actually Mofe.
Mofe. Oh, you guys are like, that's like a Greek dessert, just so you know. Mofe is a delicious Greek dessert. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Mofe.
Well, I am originally from Nigeria. Um, I currently go to Humber College. I am taking digital communications. I've been here since 2014. I am naturally a curious person. I am in the creative industry. So I'm into front-end web development, graphic design, digital illustrations, cinematography, photography. And what drove my passion for that was my upbringing and what I was surrounded by, because my mom is also in the advertising industry back in Nigeria. And she's been working in it for, I think, 30 plus years. So just like Peter mentioned, like how he was emancipated with his environment in downtown Toronto, mine was Lagos, Nigeria, being surrounded with, like, behind the scenes campaigns, on how campaigns came to life for, like, different companies and whatnot, and just getting, like, a closer view because of my mom. Yeah, that's, like, the short story about me.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. I want to ask you the question, because you have such a beautiful smile on that face and your heart is so open, but I want to ask you the question, what excites you about life?
What excites me about life? A lot of things. I don't know. People generally, and then just like the search for the unknown, basically, because without searching for the unknown, we probably won't have gotten here as a civilization. Just being curious and trying to figure out things and create new innovative ways to do things. That's one thing I'm very interested in, which is one of the reasons I picked the industry I'm in, because I found that if you look at jobs like manual labor, people that work in the factory, 50 years from now, all of them are going to be replaced by robots and machines. So I was trying to figure out, excuse me, I was trying to figure out what to do that I would enjoy. I won't feel like such an obligation with my life. And yeah, I found myself picking this avenue. And it's so funny because I was going to be a pilot at a point in my life, but that switched around when I was like, yeah, I got more immersed in advertising, web development, and like it's very hard for me to pick which one I like or which one I'm like focusing on per se, because I find that they're all interwoven. So for instance, like my first program, I did interactive media design and production at Fanshawe College. I found that my photography could be used with videography. My videography could end up on a website, and then my websites could end up on social media channels. So I started learning how to like market myself, and just apart from the creative aspect, be able to put it out there and like get it to convert and like get people to do what I wanted to do, like the call to action, so to speak.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's amazing. So how did you find IWB?
I stumbled on it, funny enough. I think it was through LinkedIn. And as I mentioned, right now I am in Humber College. So my program requires me to do a co-op, which is what I am searching for, or what I'm on right now. So that's how I found IWB. I saw a position they had posted on LinkedIn. I applied, and it was not what I expected it to be, I would to say the least, especially after talking to Stefana. And yeah, she's she's a character, and she's very open-hearted. You understand? So like I wasn't expecting what I was met with. You hardly find people in this day and age who are genuine and just want to help you, right? A lot of times, there's something my mom told me when I was young that stuck with me. You can't see anyone's heart; you can only see your own. So like, you don't really know who like has the worst or best intentions for you. So yeah, IWB seems to be very, like you said, the homey feeling, the homey vibe, despite all of us being from different races, different cultures, different backgrounds. We can all relate on being immigrants.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm shocked. Thank you, Mofe. Wow, what a, I mean, it tells you how much people, they need simple love. They need simple human approach. I mean, at the end of the day, that's where you find your passion, in a place where you feel good about yourself. That's when you uncover your fullest potential. Thank you, Mofe, for that. I appreciate that. I'm learning myself. I'm shocked. Thank you.
Yeah, that's amazing. No, I stumbled upon Svetlana too, so I get where you're coming from with that, Mofe. So for anyone out there that is in a situation, they're new to the country, what would you tell them to join us on July 15th? What is your why? Why should they join us on July 15th?
My why is just come check it out and see what it is. If you don't like it, you don't have to come back. But I guarantee if you come and experience what it is, you will definitely come back, especially if you come from backgrounds like ours. And you don't even necessarily have to be an immigrant to want to help a cause like this.
Yeah.
So that's literally like my plain and simple answer. Like I would just tell them to come check it out. Because at the end of the day, word of mouth is still like the strongest form of advertising, even till date, apart from social media and all of that. So like at the end of the day, if they like it, it's going to spread to people they also know. And more people find out about IWB, which is the goal.
Zach, and if we can take Francine here with us, please, because she's this beautiful corporate person and entrepreneur. She's in transition. We need to get her going because she probably has a pile up of messages while she's waiting. If we can ask you a few questions, so we'll let you go. Thank you so much, Zach.
No problem. Francine, what brought you to IWB?
Hello, Zach.
Hi.
everyone. And yeah, I second what Michelle said on Peter's story. Very inspiring. It was also good to know because I wasn't sure, I wasn't aware of all those details. So, and Mufe, amazing. I second many of the things you mentioned about your connection with Svetlana. My background is more, I'm from Cameroon. So Nigeria is a very close country to Cameroon, by the way. I've been there multiple times. I moved here, but I wasn't necessarily in Toronto. I was in Ottawa, and I'll say it was shyer as opposed to Toronto. People were not necessarily forward in terms of forming connections. So my experience was in college. I went to school, I did my bachelor in economics, a minor in management, and I was gravitating towards people looking more like me, just because I found there was some sort of barrier. Everyone that had been here before, they were just tending to form groups and felt somewhat excluded. And I was very shy. I left my country, and I think, I remember at the airport, my parents told me, "You've always been cocooned. You've always been around people. It's time for you to step out of that comfort zone." And I didn't apply those words until I actually got into the workforce. So I started my career in banking. I was working at the RBC, and that's when it really came to play. I was naturally gravitating towards my managers. They became my mentors, and they were much older than me, much experienced than me as well. And it was just, I wasn't connecting the dots. It was just something that was, a reality in my life. And I was not necessarily aligned with my peers in terms of thinking, because I was more forward thinking, more ambitious, more, finding a way to use my time to help others. So during that time, it was also a transition for me from Ottawa to Toronto. And when I got here, I tried to be comfortable, going back to my peers and wanting to just relieve the college times, because most of them were already in the city of Toronto, but it didn't go well. And that was a blessing in disguise, because when I moved here in 2018, in 2019, I started really thinking differently. Obviously, the corporate space is not a very agreeable place. So I had my challenges with how political things were, either to move up the ladder, either to, make your voice heard. And I have to say, I also come from a family where my mom left her corporate job to become an entrepreneur. So she had always told me, Francine, you cannot, just rely on making someone else successful. You need to create your own path. So that's also the background I was bringing in this city, in this country, I should say. And those words, along with being uncomfortable, they started resonating on top of, being drawn to much older, more experienced women. All of that started resonating. And I met Olga. She's part of IWB. Oh. And we had a networking discussion, because around that time, again, I was, highly actively looking to build a support system in Toronto, because I was new, even though I used to visit in the past before. From that conversation led to an introduction to Svetlana.
So that's what brought you to IWB. You're just looking to build a community of support community. And that's what we are here at IWB. That's what Svetlana Vision is really with IWB, is to build that support community. So once you found the community, how did you feel so supported? And how could you tell others to come to the event on July 15th to receive that same support that you have received?
The support was very warm. Like Mofe and Peter said before me, I think it's unconventional, it's not mechanical. And I think it really just brings you in the place of comfort. It's really important for people that are either new in a setting, in an environment to feel a sense of belonging. So I felt as if I belonged, and that really made a difference, right? It didn't make me feel as if I was new in the city and, being downtown and, feeling a bit lost, as was actually the reality for other people I was thinking of. So people even at my work at the time, how did you adapt so fast, right? Being available. And it was also a short time, because when I met Svetlana, it was November 2019, and the pandemic hit afterwards. But in that short time, strong ties were established. And I was also making myself available. And just to tie that to the event of July 15, which I'm very, very excited about, I think people should come and really be open-minded, be ready to be uncomfortable and meet people, right? I think it's just about that connection building. That's what's really, really important.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. That's so true. Connection building. I remember my first event I went to, Svetlana, you know how I ended up, I saw something on Facebook or something, and I was actually seeking inspiration. And that popped up, and I was like, immigrant women of business. And I'm like, immigrants just in general inspire me, right? So each and every one of you here coming to this country, you don't realize, being born Canadian, I'm inspired by immigrants, because I know that you're moving to a different country and you have to find that drive. You have to find your community. You have to find that support. And it's incredible what comes out of it. And Francine, you're just a testament of that. Is, like you said, Ottawa was different compared to Toronto. Until our spirit finds where it wants to land, the right people will always show up to support us. And that's the most beautiful thing. And so I believe you started as you were in corporate, did you start your own entrepreneurship as well, Francine? Because you do mothers to daughters as well. So let's talk a little bit about that and how you were supported as well with that.
Yes, yes. So all happened in 2019, actually. It's funny because, like I said, it was like a boomerang of thoughts, of actions to be taken. And that's what led to Mothers to Daughters. At first, it was obviously meant to be like a heavy event planning, intergenerational platform, more in person, and with an actual business model that will be sustainable. The pandemic really made things change, and Svetlana was coaching me personally in bringing that to life. And again, just from the November 2019 to the March when I was unveiling the project, 2 weeks later, the pandemic was, hitting everyone. And a month later, we're having our very first virtual event. So it went very fast because, again, I had the right intention, I had the right people, and it made such a difference. And for me, it was really, I've navigated this corporate life, and, I'm finally listening to my mother in terms of not necessarily seeing myself become the head of the Bank of Canada, because I was that ambitious in terms of moving up the ladder. And, it just became, I want to give my time, because in my family as well, I've seen my parents, care for so many people. I have so many brothers and sisters were not blood related, but that community work was there, it was present. So I really predisposed myself to being available. It became more than just, conveying this message about connecting with people that are more experienced. It's also make yourself available, build those connections, and, be proactive about it as well. And because I found the younger generation was just too distracted. To a certain extent, it's, like I always say, I can have certain conversations with my peers, but when I want to get deeper, I have to go to others. And yeah, Svetlana is among them and others. So that's what made it.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Francine. Yeah, for anyone, July 15 is really about coming together and find that support system, really about bringing that belonging, to feel like you belong somewhere. And Immigrant Women in Business and the energy, the family vibration that's coming on there is really a belonging. So Aisha, I want to come to you, because we had a conversation before this, and I just enjoy that you're in your first year, but I feel like you're way beyond your years. And I feel like you probably had a mom like each and every one of you here that supported you through the journey. So tell me a little bit about your story and how long you've been in Canada for.
I've always been in Canada, so I'm actually a first generation
Like
born.
me? Oh,
Yeah, both of my parents are immigrants from Guyana, and so are my grandparents. So kind of the whole family on both sides moved to Canada. So I cannot really relate with immigrant problems because I didn't experience it, but I do know from my own parents' stories that they've experienced similar things from Peter, Mofe, and Francine, and Svetlana, from coming to a different country, working different jobs, climbing corporate ladders. I can always remember the times that my parents would tell me about every single job that they had to do, and taking the bus, taking the TTC in Scarborough and in Toronto and all over Ontario to, just make a living, and watching that my own grandparents did the same thing. So I come from a very strong family who has always appreciated business and entrepreneurship and jobs just to make sure that they live the best life they can. And so because of that, they have blessed, me and my brother living here to give us a ton of opportunities. And I think that's something that, all immigrants can relate to as a parent or a sibling, is that when you move to Canada, you're not only wanting to make a better life for yourself, but a better life for your family and the future generation that's coming after it. So yeah, that's a little bit of my story there because I was born in Canada, but yeah.
It's so good. I was born in Canada, but you represent Guyana, I represent Greece. So girl, we're on the same island together. So how did you come into contact with Immigrant Women in Business?
Actually, the same thing. I was getting into entrepreneurship with my brother, and so I was on Facebook a lot, using it for the first time. And I just came across. I wanted to start networking with a lot more people, and I came across the IWB Facebook group, started liking a few posts here and there, and I was in another business community for communication and authors and entrepreneurship. And one of them was actually in IWB. So eventually, I don't remember how exactly, but I remember Svetlana reaching out to me and saying, like, tell me your story. I see you in here. What are you about? What's going on? I see your business. My brother and I were also doing podcasts at the time as well. And so after talking with Svetlana, she invited me to different events and to be more a part with the IWB company. And we've just been going like that since I think it's been almost 2 years now. So yeah, 2 years since I stumbled across Svetlana. So, yeah.
Amazing. For any youth out there that are looking for a support system or looking for something, a community like this, what would you tell them about the July 15th event?
For the July 15th event, I think that any youth should come out because it's worth the experience. I think that when you're in entrepreneurship or any business, experience will teach you a lot more, and it's just opening your eyes to different opportunities. So Mofe is in digital communications, and he just came from Nigeria. I want to know everything about Nigeria. You know what I mean? I want to know what it's like. I want to know the culture, and I think it's one thing to see different cultures on a screen, but it's another to talk with people from different cultures in person, to hear their actual stories, because the camera can only show you one perspective, but the person can tell you the whole story. So
I'm gonna break bread with you one day, girl. I'm breaking bread with you. We're gonna have a United Nations dinner. Everyone brings their food from their culture, and we're gonna break bread together and learn about one another, because I think that's what we need in the world. We need to understand one another. We need to understand each other's stories. We need to understand each other's struggles and how we could work with one another, empower each other. So I love that you said that. I love that you said that. So for all the youth that are out there that are listening, I want to know, what are your plans for the future? You just finished your first year university in Ryerson. So you're taking communications, and I could see you're going to be a great communicator, an incredible communicator. Whatever your touch is going to turn into gold. Let me tell you that. I could feel it and I could see it already. So what are you aiming for in the next, say, year? I don't like this 3 to 5 year, because you know what? Energy changes too quick. And so we grow up. So what would you say the next year looks like for you?
For the next year, so I'll kind of give you a little context. My brother and I, we own a company called APSO, Awesome People Shaping Our World. And we've done public speaking, and we've published about 3 books so far. We're both authors ourselves. And so within the next year, we're hoping to publish more books and interact with more youth, because they're co-authored. So we're actually working with young people to put their stories out there. And I would say more public speaking, just, you know, being around people, being on stage, that's kind of what brings the energy about. And that's what we want to see in the next year, is just an upscale of working with more youth and spreading that message of hope and making the world a better place.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. For anyone out there that is listening to this message, that is afraid of having that spotlight on you, Raisa is the answer. Put a chapter in the book, co-write together, build a community, get out there, because the world is waiting for youth. As I'm saying this, my body is actually shivering, because there's so many great resources out there and support systems out there. And Raisa's been through this. So imagine working with someone, not someone that's older than you, but someone that actually understands you. So for anyone that's out there that's listening, that needs that support system, that needs to feel like you are belonging in a family environment, listen, we're not about scheduling things around here. We're about going with the flow. And if things just fall out of place, then guess what? We're going to still party and celebrate each other's success, because that's what brings everyone to the table, is being authentically you, showing up, smiling and laughing, just like everyone on this platform. It's just so beautiful, Raisa, that, you know, you're showing up like this. And I know that you're going to have a lot more youth being part of this book that you're doing, you and your brother. And to be public speaking, girl, I'd have you on my podcast in a heartbeat. Absolutely. I would love to have a conversation with you even further.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for spreading your light, and thank you for spreading your wings, because you are a true earth angel, just like each and every one of you here that are showing up. But I want to move on to Farishta. I know I just killed your name, so just give me the right way of saying it.
Farishta.
Oh, I was close, Farishta. Hello, Farishta. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, thank you. Farishta, I want to get down to what brought your beautiful smile to IWB. What were you struggling with before you found IWB?
IWB, I found it, I saw the page in LinkedIn, and also to Svetlana and my husband was friends. They become a friend, and we introduced.
Oh, she introduced it. Amazing, amazing. So were you experiencing any challenges? Were you experiencing any help that you're looking for support? And then IWB just showed up because, you know, your husband was friends with Svetlana?
Yes. Sorry.
It's okay.
Her English is a little bit still dicey.
Yeah,
she's
problem.
She's getting there.
I got you.
Thank you for Ashley. Yes.
So no, I'm going to ask you this question. Tell everyone why they should come out July 15th.
July 15 events, they came to introduce each other and see the immigrants women, how they grow up and how they work and how they start and different culture. So this.
Amazing, thank you. And tell us a little bit, what do you do?
How?
What do you do for work?
In July 15 event?
No, what do you do for work?
She just arrived here, Zach.
Oh, she just arrived. Oh, okay, okay.
9 months ago, so
Sorry.
she is getting into the understanding.
You're
where
fresh.
she can apply her. Yes, she'll be looking for job. That's why for now she's interning to figure out how the market works. And it's a typical newcomer story. Once you already have worked in your own country, she already has the skills and the talent. She just needs to find a way to apply what she has learned to this market. And that's typical settlement through action. That's why she is here. Faryashka, sorry, I had to explain a little bit.
It's
but
okay.
yes.
I just needed to know.
Yes.
No problem. So welcome to Canada. And I know you're going to find so many amazing opportunities here, especially with such a great support system like Svetlana, her vision, her dream, IWB. And this is the beautiful thing of what you've created here, Svetlana, with IWB, because really at the end of the day, we're all here because of you. We're here because of your vision. We're here because you had this need to create something. Right. So I want to ask you a couple of questions because you are the founder and you are like the mom to each and every one of us here. I don't care how old you are, but I look at you as someone that my mom, you're like my mom. We're not that far apart, but at the end of the day, you're like my mom. You're someone that I call and hey, let's have a good time, but let's have also a business conversation. So what made you start Immigrant Women of Business?
My personal story, I could just tell with my heart that I can help women. When I came to this country, I did find, I forced myself to people who build a company, sold it to other companies, because that's how we create success, by modeling other people's successes. So my first mentor was the gentleman, he's still a very good friend of mine. Peter knows him. He built his company, sold it to AON. So I had another gentleman who sold his company to Sharon Plow, big pharmaceutical company. So they became my friends. So literally those friends who are obviously mentors, who I attacked myself to get them into my network, because I knew they'll show me the path to progress in this country, because the market is very saturated. And that's what really the contribution is to all my mentors and to my network, which you understand that 26 years ago, the definition of mentor didn't even exist. We didn't have social platforms, but it's very clear for me because I was blessed with logic. Because my father trained me to do things from the young age, not to sit and wait, get things done. So I was introduced to a lot of doing things. So logic come to me naturally. So when I came to Canada, I look at, I mean, what a beautiful country. It's a land of opportunities. But I mean, the market is very saturated. How can I get ahead faster, right?
Yeah.
So that's what mentors came to me. And that's what really helped me out in life in Canada. And that's what I thought, that's what I'll bring to other immigrants, because once I already built up my business career in this country, I built up my life, everything I figured out, I start talking to the people who came from the same country, from the same city, graduated the same university, have the same blue eyes, but they didn't make it. All right.
Yeah.
And that was really my emotional trigger for them, because they're also mothers. They're also mothers, and their kids, they're looking at their mothers, and their mothers, they're not in a very good shape, right? I mean, we have addictions, we have domestic violence, and we're talking about, because I didn't forget about them, but I didn't have time to babysit people. So that's why I really ask everybody all the time to appreciate the opportunity and step up and to do things, right? It's going to be painful. It's going to be, of course, everything is painful. That's how we learn, right? But take the risk, because time flies so fast. Then you're 55 and you're looking, I didn't talk to you for 15 years. I mean, you're not better, you're 10 times worse.
Yeah.
So take the risk, do things, do it now, do a lot, accomplish a lot. So that's really why it was my emotional trigger. Beside everything else, of course, I have an economic background. My first business was in Russia when I was 20. When I was graduating university, I have already started my own business. So everything makes logical sense to me. But this is really emotional trigger because it's a nonprofit organization.
Yeah.
And like any business, I believe that, I mean, it's ABC for business. I mean, it's a passion that gives birth to something meaningful, to something that you want to go and make things better, right? So yeah, so that was emotional trigger. And in addition to that, as an economist, as somebody who, when I came to Canada, I took a little bit of a corporate journey. Because I had to warm up. I didn't speak a word of English when I came to this country. So I had to take a journey of working for the company AC Nielsen. It's actually the biggest marketing research company in the world. So I have a lot of data. So obviously when I turn into something into the business, I'm not doing things, oh, let's just make the world a better place. No, I understand that's today trend, women, social impact, right? Today, they're hitting with immigrant women in business. And of course, immigrants, there are 400,000 immigrants coming to this country. Who's buying products and services? So it's a natural, it's a trend on top of understanding how the economy works. And that's where Immigrant Women in Business got born. It just did make sense in addition to emotional trigger.
That's incredible. And I know you're a woman of actions. I've seen you. You're not a let's think about it. You're about let's do it. Now I know why Peter gets that, because he's not about a let's think about it. He's about a let's do it too. So it's like the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. So everyone that's struggling out there, being the founder of this organization, that's an incredible organization. I love it. I love that I bumped into it. But for everyone struggling out there, we have a community right now. We have something for each and every person out there. So why should these people come out July 15, not only to see you and your energy and your vibration and your happiness and your joy, but what are some other things that they're going to experience and meeting their mentors? Maybe they could be meeting someone.
It's ABC in life. ABC. Go look inspirational quotes. It's not what you know, it's who you know. It's not your net worth, which everybody wants to be financially free and making money so they can help more people. So your network is your net worth. So if you don't see an opportunity, myself, each and every day, I prospect to impact investors, but this should be your daily routine for everybody to expand your network. Because if you want to be successful, if you want to be happy in life, through networking, you'll find that. Right? So and this is the key. It's really, that's why I love it, because it makes sense. It doesn't cost anything. The best form of marketing used to be and always will be relationship marketing and word of mouth advertising. We deal with a lot of solopreneurs, and guess what? Guess how they find their best customers and what's the best way to grow to grow their business is through relationship marketing. You build a relationship with people like Naira, with Maria Carolina, with Michelle McGee, with Yelena, who already have established networks. You become their friends, they're a phone call away. Naira, I'm stuck, I need to close my months, help me out with a few customers. Here we go, right? I mean, that's what we do. Anyways, I mean, I think at this point, maybe I'm older, but everything is so simple for me. But I find, Zach, a lot of things, I mean, because the economy used to be we are in transition to purpose-driven economy. I always talk about it because I'm an economist. I study numbers. So, and I understand a lot of confusion come from, again, where Peter came from where the money was created, because things were created for money. When things are created for money, not for people, that's where confusion comes from, right? They created all that to be confused in order to sell us often not valuable products and services, right? So now we're in transition, and that's why one of the biggest reasons why Immigrant Women in Business is the future for a lot of entrepreneurs, because first of all, people who we connect with, people who we invite, and people who touch us, they become not only people leaders and people who take massive action. Those people, they do things for the right reason. And this is the key to life. You do things to help other people. You create the valuable product and service that changes people's lives. And this is the backbone of our economy. It's a small business, used to be and will be. And with today's millennials and Zs, we did see what happened with this massive resignation. People want to be happy, and that happy is doing something that you're passionate about. That's what makes you happy, and producing the content, whatever that content is going to form in a product and service that change people's lives one customer at the time. And a lot of them, they come to us, and we have an ability to help them to grow that baby to the bigger impact, which is more customers in the different ways, the way we help people to scale it. I hope I didn't confuse anybody.
No, not at all. Everyone, those are words of wisdom from the founder of Immigrant Women in Business. Really, at the end of the day, it is really about building a community. And I'm so happy that I got to find this community. I've met incredible people Like she said, Naira, we've worked together. Q is another member. I've worked with Q and I continue working with Q, with Iwb. I mean, there's so many different people that you're going to get to meet on July the 15th that are there to support you, that are there to mentor you, that are there to help you knock on doors and open doors for you. And this is why Svetlana does this. It's not that she needs it. It's that she wants to give her Rolodex to others out there and say, hey, this is the opportunity and these are the steps that I took to get me to where I am today. She might say she's older and things are easy for her, but it wasn't that way when she first started. We all are learning. And when we learn, we go through pain, we go through tears, we go through confusion. She's the one that figured it out. Why not work with someone that has figured it out so that you don't experience that pain, that you don't experience that suffering, and that you could cross the bridge so much easier. So July 15th, join us at Toronto City Hall at 5 p.m. It is a Friday night, so don't give us an excuse you're working the next day, because I can guarantee you, if it's a Svetlana day, it's a Svetlana party, and you don't know what's gonna happen.
Zach, thank you so much,
together.
Zach. And I do need it. I do need it because the definition of happiness is helping other people.
Exactly.
Progress by helping other people. By doing what I do, I'm very privileged. And I'm thanking each and every person who comes my way because it's an opportunity for me to grow and to give. You want to be happy? It's in the giving.
Yes,
So,
yes.
and that's why we build our network. So we are more resourceful. And with those resources, we help other people.
Absolutely.
And building those resources, it'll help you to build you, your character, your charisma. You learn, and you'll be living the life of dreams and happiness. And Zach, thank you so much for taking the time today. And thank you, each and every one of you. We'll have Peter and Raisa there as speakers. Naira obviously is talking about always women empowerment. I mean, what a story. I mean, talking about newcomer. I mean, she's been here only a few years, and it's shocking, obviously, what newcomers do. I mean, they create in 3, 4, 5 years, they build a huge building with everything, right? With a lot of resources, helping a lot of people, creating solutions. This is fantastic. What a beautiful time to be alive. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Peter. And Maria Carolina, she's in a noisy place. You'll see Maria Carolina. Everybody's coming. We already have tons of people registered, and we're expecting 250 people, including city officials and influencers from all multicultural communities, not only from Toronto, actually people coming from Ottawa, they're coming from Montreal. We even have people coming from BC. Akash is coming from BC. He's flying for the event. So
there you go.
thank you once again.
That's amazing. No, that's amazing. Thank you, Svetlana. Like I said, thank you for creating this organization. It's been a life changer for many people. Thank you for putting your heart into it. So everyone, we will see you on July the 15th, Toronto City Hall. Thank you to each and every Millennial and Gen X. I have no idea Gen Z, Gen X, anything. I don't have a clue what that is. I'll be honest with y'all. When people say that, I'm like, yeah, okay, just help me with this, because I know you guys know this better than I do. So thank you. Thank you for shining your light. Thank you for being who you are. And thank you for supporting each and every person that's going to come into IWB, because that's what we're all here to do. So thank you, everyone, for being here today. Thank you, thank you, thank you.